Hello, folks. Brandon Chapman with you today. It's a Monday edition of the TheoTRADE video for February 2nd, 2026. And, we're looking at the S&P 500 staging a rally up 0.5% today. Is this the bottom that we're looking for? The question is probably not. And we'll talk about why that is. And let's be honest. 2025 was marked by what? If we go back, I'll go through your weekly chart here. We'll look at the totality of 2025. Off of the April lows, we went screaming here, and I'll just draw a line so we can see the percentage move in the S&P 500 from peak to trough, trough to peak rather. In fact, I'll go right here, for example, and we'll draw this back, but we're talking a 44% move off of the April's low. And so a lot of people think, well, why shouldn't I not expect that to continue in the future? Well, and I read somebody over the weekend talking about 2026 might be difficult. And in that process, they said, well, yeah, I told you we're going to make 17% of the market last year. And that's what we did. And I'm thinking about that. I'm like, boy, what did it take to generate a 17% return in the S&P 500? Think about it this way, right? So if I were to put S&P 500 in gold terms, did the S&P really perform in terms of positive real returns? The answer is no, right? It took 24 GLD shares to buy one SPX share, and today it's at 16. The market lost real value in 2025. It wasn't a positive year. You went backwards, even though the nominal value of your portfolio invested in the S&P 500 actually went up. And by the way, we'd have to go, if we went back 30 years, the S&P has not generated a real return in gold terms. And gold doesn't even generate a real return. It's actually negative because you got to pay to store it, etc. So as we look at this year, are we really expecting the dollar to provide the wind at our back and create significant lift this year? Notice this ratio between the S&P 500 gold has suddenly ticked higher pretty strongly, but the S&P actually went lower. Why? Because the dollar's strengthening. And so when you look at gold and silver, yeah, they've hit a wall here, haven't they? In fact, I spent my session back on the 29th in the chat room during Ghost Hour saying why the option markets were saying there's no bullish trade here. Any gamma squeeze you think you had here was gone because volatility outstripped the potential in GLD. The buying of verticals, buying a lower strike call, selling a higher strike call, flattened the IV skew out. Yeah, those are complicated terms. But the reality is there was no way to really make money to the upside in GLD practically, or for that matter in SLV. So when you can't do that, the only way, there's no driving force. You see a lot of calls being closed in SLV and GLD back on the 29th. What you see is the market for those products start to decline. And then you start to see the real leverage in silver and in gold. And by the way, if you think today is a big day for example, to buy GLD because we're down, you probably thought the same thing on Friday. And the answer is no, not really. In fact, if we look at the Ghost Print Surveillance Console today, and we bring up stuff like GLD as an example, and let me just reset the filters here so we can see everything trade on GLD, and we'll look at some of the top trades that went on today. For example, 56,000. Well, what did they do? They sold a call vertical, right? 100,000, 80,000. Well, they did what? No, I guess I'm not matching it there. This down here, for example. Let me just sort by alert time. Find that spread. Put options, right? Well, we bought the 405, sold the 395 today. Well, that's a bearish trade, right? Here we did buy, someone bought 10,000 contracts. Is that matching up? Yeah, this is a more complicated trade here as we look at the time, the fill time, right? But the point is there's not a lot of bullish trade here, right? The point is there's not a lot of speculative excess, right? Okay, so maybe we got a spread here at 1240. But you'll notice we got some other prints right about the exact same time. Actually, wasn't exactly the same time. So we do have a bullish trade here. But we're buying 10,000, selling 100,000. If that's tied together, doesn't look right? Those are different those are the same expiration. Buying 10, selling 100. Doesn't get me excited, does it? So as we go down this list, how much is really signaling a bull case for gold right now? Not really much of anything. So as we get back to the S&P 500, realize that with today's rally in the S&P 500, look at what happened with the VIX. The VIX actually declined. We went down 1 point to 16.34. So what we're seeing is that immediate volatility expectations have declined, but in actuality, if I compare that against the 3-month volatility, so I'm taking a ratio of 3 month to 1 month, we actually saw volatility expectations tick higher. And not to mention the fact we're really, really close up here to another significant bearish signal from the volatility markets. Oh, and by the way, has the skew index cooled off? We look at today, February 2nd, the skew index actually ticked higher to 146, and we're at very elevated levels. The volatility markets are suggesting no, right? Today's selling in the VIX only is increasing the expectations for future volatility, and they're actually sitting at pretty extreme levels and very near the very extreme level above 1.2 on that 3 month to 1 month VIX ratio. What that means is the 3 month VIX is 20% higher than the 1 month VIX. We're projecting a significant rise in volatility in the near future. If we go to product depth here, we look at /VX, look at these front two contracts here, 19, and what's the next one, 20. I'll just take a simple average. That's 19 and a half. The VIX today is at 16.3. We look at the forward premium. This is also a 30-day window here, right? And I take another 30-day window. This is the spot price of 16.3. And you're like, man, we're 3 points higher. That's almost 20%. And again, we go back to the VIX3M. This is a proxy for that forward premium at we're 19.37. Okay, so right now the volatility markets are saying no, right? We're not at a bottom. Now, again, is anything 100%? The answer is, of course, no. The higher skew means that if we were to go higher, it's going to do under a very labored approach, right? So you can have your 7,500 forecast or 7,550 forecast, your 73 forecast. But what the volatility markets are saying is that, look, the fact of the matter is the downside risks are significantly greater at this point. So whatever target you want to set, understand that if the dollar begins to strengthen, we already saw the unwind in gold and silver. What happens when we start to see it in the broader equity markets? Again, that sell-off in gold and silver didn't create higher prices in the S&P 500 those 2 days. And even today, yeah, we're a little bit higher. But what happens when the dollar's in our face and not in our back? That's the real challenge going into 2026. And as I look at the volatility markets and we're looking and assessing what's the expectations of volatility, the best scenario is if we can sell off and we start to see back month volatility rise or fall below the 30-day window, and that's down here. The last indication we had back here was we dipped below back on November 20th, November 17th, and back here on October 16th. Those present much better opportunities to consider being long the market than considering a point where vol expectations are ramping up on a nice up day in the S&P, 0.5%. But again, our bias is to want to be bullish more often than not. And as a result, our bias tends to take hold. What objective measure does someone have to say, oh, I think the S&P 500 is going to go to this? At the end of the day, it's fool's gold, right? We don't even have a bullish trend right now, right? We actually technically formed a lower low here. We definitely don't have a bull market. A bull market doesn't underperform gold the degree that it did. So unless we see a significant sell-off in the dollar, what are we talking about here? We're talking about large potential downside in the S&P 500. And traditionally, when we get those volatility signals like we did back here, even end of November, and we're pushing towards right now, you're looking at a historic 5 to 10% correction in the S&P 500. And that presents maybe the first beginning opportunity to really want to get more along the market. Yeah, you can find bullish opportunities, right? I'm not saying you can't trade anything positively, but the point is at this stage, it probably says, hey, you got to be more guarded, consider having more cash, and consider the possibility that you may want to be hedged here. Because as volatility grinds towards the low down here and skew is rising, we're only resetting the downside risk to the market, not resetting the upside opportunity. The fact is the best upside opportunities are after the sell-offs, right? After the November swoon, after the October sell-off here, which, by the way, that was the first shot across the bow of the yen carry trade unwind more recently. The market struggled ever since. And despite the dollar's weakness that's evidenced by the prolific rise in gold, the S&P 500's only minimally offered any upside since the end of the year, or since the October 10th low, or since the November 20th low, which, by the way, again, we had a bullish signal from the 3-month to 1-month VIX ratio. So that was probably the best opportunity to go long in months. So as we look at today, just understand, we've not reset the clock on a sell-off. We're only going right back to the trough and looking at more further selling to the downside in the near term. And if we're up tomorrow, we'll likely see the VIX push lower. And again, that only again amplifies the downside risk at this point. So my point is, look, you can be bullish, you can be bearish, you can be whatever, right? You can set your targets in the S&P 500 to whatever you want. But when we look at the volatility markets, what we're looking at is the risk by doing so. And the risks right now are much more elevated to the downside than the upside opportunity presents. And this is a time where you take a step back and hope to see we do see a sell-off here. Hope that we do see a good point to start to get in and take risks to the upside in a more increased fashion. Because right now, this is not the low you're looking for. Anyway, have a good one, folks. See you next week on the video. Thank you.